Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to have you all here today. Today, we're diving into unveiling the hidden architecture of SharePoint Online. We'll explore the back-end ecosystem, how performance works behind the scenes, and strategies to optimize it all. So, let's get started and uncover the secrets that make SharePoint Online tick. Welcome to this part of the presentation, where we delve into the hidden engine room of SharePoint Online. On this slide, we're unveiling the complex architecture that runs behind the scenes. These mechanisms are not just technical details. They play a crucial role in optimizing performance within Microsoft 365 environments. Understanding how these hidden processes work is essential for both administrators and users. It helps us troubleshoot issues more effectively, anticipate potential delays, and ultimately optimize overall performance. Behind the scenes, there's a sophisticated web of Azure services and internal processes that coordinate in real time. This coordination ensures that our experience remains seamless, even though there's a lot happening under the hood. And here's the interesting part. While SharePoint Online might seem simple on the surface, like uploading a document or creating a site with just a click, there's a lot of complex activity happening behind the scenes to make that simplicity possible. So, recognizing this hidden complexity helps us appreciate the robust architecture that supports our everyday use of SharePoint. Let's take a closer look at the hidden architecture that powers SharePoint Online through Azure services. First, we have policy engines, which are essential for enforcing compliance, retention, and sensitivity rules. Think of them as the guardians that help ensure our data stays secure and adheres to organizational policies. Next, there are store site collections and manage quotas. These are responsible for organizing our sites and making sure we don't exceed storage limits, keeping everything efficient and well-structured. Moving on, content databases handle the scalable file storage beyond traditional setups, allowing us to manage large volumes of data seamlessly. Blob storage is another critical component. It manages identity and access validation, so only authorized users can access specific content. Finally, Azure Active Directory, or Azure AD, plays a central role in managing identities and authentication across the platform. Together, these Azure services create a robust, scalable, and secure foundation that supports SharePoint Online's capabilities and aligns with our overall goal of delivering a reliable cloud experience. When you click the button to create a new site, it might seem like a simple action, but there's actually a lot happening behind the scenes. First, templates and provisioning scripts come into play, helping to set up the site structure according to predefined standards. These tools ensure that every site is consistent and properly configured from the start. Next, content databases are allocated to provide storage space for all the content you'll add. Think of this as assigning a specific storage slot for your new site. Then, policy engines automatically cross-check organizational rules to make sure everything complies with company standards and regulations. Simultaneously, Azure Active Directory steps in to validate the user's identity and verify that they have the necessary licenses to create and use the site. All these steps happen seamlessly, so when you hit Create Site, you're expecting instant results. In reality, there's a complex orchestration of processes working together to deliver that quick, smooth experience. Now, let's take a closer look at how Azure Active Directory acts as the ultimate gatekeeper for identity management in SharePoint Online. At the core, Azure AD makes sure that only authorized users can create new sites, which is crucial for maintaining security boundaries and ensuring compliance across the organization. When a user attempts to create a site, the process kicks off with identity validation. This first step confirms who the user is and verifies their membership within the organization. Next, Azure AD performs a license entitlement check. This step ensures that the user has the necessary licenses and permissions to proceed with site creation, aligning with organizational policies. Following that, we move into policy enforcement. Here, Azure AD applies specific organizational policies and access controls, making sure that site creation complies with security standards and governance rules. Finally, at step 4, Azure AD solidifies security and compliance by enforcing all these policies during the site creation process. Altogether, these layers of validation and enforcement highlight how Azure AD not only authenticates users, but also ensures that each action aligns with organizational security and compliance requirements. This layered approach is essential for safeguarding our digital workspace and maintaining trust across the platform. Let's take a closer look at the policy engines and how they impact site provisioning. As you can see, these policy engine reviews can sometimes cause delays in creating new SharePoint sites. While this might seem like a hurdle, these delays are actually important because they help ensure we stay compliant with regulatory requirements and organizational policies. When conflicts do occur during the review process, the site creation process stalls until those issues are resolved. This pause is crucial because it guarantees that every new site meets all necessary standards before going live. Think of each site creation request as a meeting where every department head has the authority to veto if something doesn't align with policies. This review process is a key part of our overall governance framework. SharePoint sites must adhere to various policies, including retention and compliance rules, sensitivity labels, information barriers, and broader organizational governance policies. These measures help us manage risk and maintain control over our digital environment, ensuring that our sites are compliant from the start. Let's talk about content databases, specifically how they relate to resource management and quotas. These databases are really the backbone of storing site collections in SharePoint Online. Now, because they're finite in capacity and regionally distributed, managing them effectively is crucial for smooth operation. This resource juggling, allocating space across various databases, can sometimes cause slowdowns, especially during peak times or when there's a large-scale provisioning event happening. Think of it like a busy highway. When many cars are trying to get through at once, things can slow down. When demand is high and quotas are reached, the system has to get a bit creative. It may need to wait for resources to free up or shuffle existing resources around to accommodate new site requests. That's what we mean by provisioning waits or resource shuffling during these peak periods. Before a new site can be created, the system needs to find available space within the relevant database. This process involves checking regional distribution and quotas to ensure the new site fits within the capacity limits. So, in summary, content databases are regionally distributed and have quotas that limit their capacity. Understanding these limits helps us appreciate how SharePoint Online manages its resources and maintains performance, even under heavy demand. Now, let's talk about templates and provisioning scripts in SharePoint Online. Even small issues with templates, like referencing outdated information or missing features, can cause delays in site creation. This happens because SharePoint needs to perform extra validation and error handling to ensure everything is correct. Provisioning scripts are really useful because they automate the setup process, but they also introduce additional complexity. Managing these scripts can be challenging, especially as your environment evolves. Speaking of evolution, custom templates need ongoing maintenance to stay aligned with platform updates. If they aren't kept up to date, they might break or become incompatible. It's also important to remember that templates must be compatible with SharePoint APIs and policies. Compatibility is key to ensuring smooth deployment and operation. Finally, site templates are quite comprehensive. They bundle pages, lists, web parts, and settings into a single package. This makes them powerful, but also requires careful planning to make sure everything works seamlessly together. Understanding these aspects helps us better manage the architecture behind SharePoint Online and ensures our site provisioning processes are efficient and reliable. Let's take a closer look at some common bottlenecks we encounter during site creation in SharePoint Online. First, one of the main issues can be template or provisioning script errors. These happen when the templates or scripts used to set up new sites don't execute properly, causing delays or failures in provisioning. It's important to ensure these scripts are well-tested and reliable. Next, we often see the policy engine holding up site creation due to compliance checks. SharePoint Online has built-in policies to ensure that sites meet certain compliance standards, and if a site doesn't pass those checks immediately, the process can be temporarily paused until it's compliant. Finally, content database quota limits can also cause wait times. SharePoint Online has storage quotas for content databases, and when these are nearly full, new site creation might be delayed until enough space is freed up. Understanding these common bottlenecks helps us better troubleshoot and streamline the site provisioning process. Let's take a closer look at managing large-scale site provisioning in SharePoint Online. First, it's important to understand that restoring balance is crucial to prevent widespread delays. When one region or service experiences a bottleneck, it doesn't stay isolated. It can cause delays across the entire tenant. This highlights the importance of balancing provisioning efforts across regions. If one area slows down, it can ripple out, slowing down everyone else until the issue is addressed. These ripple effects can be further amplified by global policy negotiations. When policies are being negotiated or updated, they can cause delays that affect multiple regions and services simultaneously. Dependencies across regions mean that a bottleneck in one area can escalate quickly, impacting the overall system. Now, in the context of multinational site creation, things get even more complex. When multiple regions request site creation at the same time, it can quickly overwhelm shared content databases, causing capacity issues. All of these factors highlight how interconnected and delicate large-scale provisioning can be. Managing these dependencies and balancing the load is key to ensuring smooth, efficient operation for users worldwide. Now, beyond the actual site creation process, there's a lot happening in the background that keeps everything running smoothly. Let's start with permissions enforcement. This is crucial because it makes sure that only authorized users can access certain content, helping us maintain the system's integrity and security. Think of it as the gatekeeper that controls who sees what. Next, we have search indexing and metadata crawling. This process continuously scans your content and its metadata, making it easier to find what you need quickly. It's like having a detailed catalog that updates itself in real time, boosting discoverability across your site. And then there are the ongoing background processes. These handle things like document uploads and other updates seamlessly, so users experience smooth and reliable operations without interruptions. Finally, it's important to remember that site provisioning is just the starting point. Once your site is set up, all these background activities kick in to support its ongoing functionality and security. It's a complex, behind-the-scenes architecture that ensures everything runs efficiently and securely. Let's take a closer look at the search and permissions system in SharePoint Online, which is really a delicate balance. At its core, the system is designed to optimize both efficiency and security, ensuring users can find what they need quickly without compromising sensitive information. When a permission change occurs, the system performs complex recalculations behind the scenes. This process might sound technical, but it's essential for maintaining seamless functionality across the platform. Now, this interplay directly impacts what users see in their search results. Only content they are authorized to access appears, which helps them find what they need efficiently and securely. It's like having a personalized filter that respects security boundaries. The way SharePoint search and permissions are interconnected is quite sophisticated. Search crawlers scan through documents and metadata regularly, building index data, while Azure Active Directory verifies who can access each item. This tight integration ensures that search results are accurate and secure, reinforcing the overall theme of balanced efficiency and security in collaboration. Now, let's look at how versioning can impact search performance in SharePoint Online. As you can see here, enabling versioning can actually introduce some hidden complexities in the architecture. This might seem like a minor feature, but it can cause search results to be delayed by hours or even days, especially in environments with a high volume of document changes. When we talk about delays in search results, what's happening behind the scenes is that high activity in versioned libraries floods the indexing queue. Each time a document is edited, a new version is created, and that version needs to be indexed separately. This means that the more versions you have, the more work the system has to do, which increases the overall indexing workload. Think of it like a backlog. Each version is like an additional task that the system must process before it can update the search index. So, enabling versioning, while useful for tracking document history and collaboration, does come with the trade-off of increased indexing effort. This can slow down how quickly new or updated content appears in search results, especially in busy environments with frequent document edits. Understanding this hidden architecture helps us optimize our document management strategies and keep search performance in check. Let's talk about permission changes and how they can create a domino effect within SharePoint Online. Even small tweaks to permissions might seem straightforward, but they can actually lead to significant site-wide disruptions. For example, when permissions are modified, it can cause indexing processes to stall temporarily. This means the search functionality might not work as expected for a little while, and users could experience access issues. Search crawlers, which are responsible for indexing content, need to revalidate whether content is visible or not after permissions change. This revalidation process is crucial to keep search results accurate and secure. When permissions are updated, they also impact direct access lists and the underlying search schema. These are the structures that manage how content is retrieved and displayed in search results. Finally, any change to permissions triggers a recalibration across the system. It's like a ripple effect. Altering permissions causes adjustments in various components that maintain the integrity and security of your SharePoint environment. So, even small permission tweaks can have far-reaching consequences, underscoring the importance of managing permissions carefully and understanding their broader impact. Let's take a closer look at the real-world effects of permissions lag. As you can see, these issues often arise not because of bugs, but because the system is simply catching up to recent changes. This delay can cause a variety of challenges for users and administrators alike. One common symptom is a spike in support tickets, which happen when users report missing or inaccessible content. It's not that the content is gone. Rather, the permissions or updates haven't yet propagated through the system. Another key point is that sensitive documents might appear in search results prematurely. This can lead to unintended exposure, raising security concerns even before the permissions are fully updated. And finally, some users might find themselves unable to access files they previously could open. This access denial can be frustrating and disruptive, especially if it happens unexpectedly. Overall, these issues highlight the importance of understanding how permissions updates are processed. Recognizing that these delays are about system synchronization helps us better manage expectations and troubleshoot effectively. Let's take a closer look at the search crawler behavior under conflict conditions. Understanding this hidden architecture of SharePoint Online is crucial for admins, especially when diagnosing mysterious search outages. One key point to keep in mind is that when issues occur, you might notice that large content sets suddenly disappear from search results without any warning. This isn't random. It's often a protective response by the crawler. Crawlers have the ability to block entire folders or even whole sites from appearing in search results. This is a deliberate safeguard designed to prevent the exposure of unauthorized or sensitive content. So, if you see content missing, it could be the crawler's way of protecting your data. However, conflicts, like conflicting permissions or inheritance problems, can cause confusion for the crawler. When permissions aren't clear or are inconsistent, the crawler may misinterpret access rights, leading it to hide or block content unintentionally. Understanding these behaviors helps us better troubleshoot and ensure that our search experience remains accurate and secure. Let's take a closer look at what makes content delivery networks, or CDNs, so powerful, especially when it comes to SharePoint Online. When configured correctly, CDNs can significantly boost performance by bringing content closer to the user, which means faster load times and a smoother experience. However, if they're misconfigured, they can actually cause delays and frustration, so proper setup is crucial. One of the key concepts here is serving frequently accessed files from regional edge servers. Think of these servers as local hubs that store copies of your most popular content. By doing this, we reduce the distance data has to travel, which in turn cuts down latency and conserves bandwidth. Reducing latency is vital because it directly impacts how quickly users can access files. The closer the content is stored to the user, the faster it loads. And by reducing bandwidth usage, we help manage network resources more efficiently, preventing bottlenecks and ensuring a better overall experience. Finally, optimizing file delivery through caching is what makes CDNs so effective. By caching content nearer to users, CDNs ensure that file delivery is faster and more reliable, especially during peak times or when there's a high volume of access. This is a key part of maintaining high performance and user satisfaction in SharePoint Online. Let's take a closer look at some of the hidden architecture challenges when integrating Blob storage with SharePoint Online. One key point is that Blob storage paths need to be carefully aligned with CDN caching strategies. This alignment is crucial because it helps optimize performance by ensuring content is delivered quickly and efficiently. If the paths aren't properly aligned, we might face delays or inconsistent loading times. Another important aspect is how the physical and logical locations of files can significantly impact load times. Files stored closer to the user or in regions with faster connectivity will naturally load faster, which directly affects user experience. This brings us to the issue of regional file accessibility. If files are stored far away from where users are accessing them, it can cause noticeable delays, especially for global organizations. Lastly, while Azure Blob Storage offers excellent scalability for storing large amounts of data, it also introduces a certain level of complexity. Managing these scalable storage solutions requires careful planning and understanding of how to optimize for performance, access, and cost. Connecting this to our overall theme, understanding these architectural nuances is key to making sure SharePoint Online remains fast, reliable, and scalable, even as we leverage cloud storage solutions like Azure Blob Storage. Let's take a closer look at the hidden architecture behind SharePoint Online, specifically regarding how CDN and Blob storage interact and where performance issues can arise. These factors often lead to inconsistent load times, which can be frustrating for users, especially after migrations or updates when things are still settling. One key point to understand is the impact on user experience. When site templates change, for example, they can trigger global cache invalidations, meaning the cached content needs to be refreshed across the entire system. This process can introduce delays and inconsistencies. Another challenge is related to cache expiration policies. Sometimes, these policies are set too short, causing frequent cache invalidations, or too long, leading to stale content being served. Finding the right balance is crucial but can be tricky. Cache misses are also a major factor. When a request can't be fulfilled from the cache, it has to go all the way back to the origin storage, which might be located far away geographically. This long-distance retrieval can significantly slow down load times. Overall, understanding these underlying architecture elements helps us diagnose and improve the performance issues users experience, especially during updates or migrations. Now, let's take a closer look at the hidden architecture of SharePoint Online and how it impacts performance after migration. This slide emphasizes the importance of properly aligning storage, CDN, and network configurations once you've migrated. If these elements aren't correctly set up, it can lead to significant delays and increased support tickets, which ultimately affect user experience. For instance, in our case study, users in Asia experienced slow image loads. This was mainly due to blob storage being located far from their region and misconfigurations in the CDN setup. These regional performance issues highlight how critical it is to consider geography and infrastructure during migration. The key takeaway here is that migration isn't just about moving data. It's about ensuring that the entire architecture is optimized for performance. Otherwise, you might face multi-second delays and frustration among your users. This example underscores the challenges faced by a global company moving to SharePoint Online with modern Blob storage. Proper planning and configuration are essential to avoid these kinds of regional bottlenecks and maximize the benefits of the migration. In this slide, we're diving into troubleshooting SharePoint performance bottlenecks by unveiling the hidden architecture of SharePoint Online. The goal here is to help administrators anticipate potential issues before they impact users and to maintain a smooth SharePoint experience overall. One of the key concepts is understanding interdependencies within the system. For example, ensuring that Blob storage paths are functioning correctly is crucial because any disruption there can directly affect performance. It's vital to monitor these paths as part of our ongoing health checks. Next, we have validating CDN cache health. This step is essential because delays in permission updates can hinder user access and search functionality. Keeping the CDN cache healthy improves both the search experience and overall usability for users. Analyzing search indexing queues is another important area. If there are errors in provisioning scripts or misaligned templates, search might not work as expected. Checking these queues helps us identify and resolve issues that could be slowing down search results or causing inconsistencies. Checking template compatibility is also critical. If templates aren't fully compatible, provisioning can get held up, leading to operational hiccups. Ensuring smooth template deployment keeps SharePoint running efficiently. Reviewing policy engine logs helps us identify regional usage patterns and potential bottlenecks specific to certain areas. This insight enables us to manage performance more proactively across different regions. Finally, monitoring content database quotas is vital because exceeding these limits can cause performance degradation or even outages. Keeping an eye on quotas helps us plan capacity and avoid unexpected issues. Overall, these troubleshooting strategies form a comprehensive approach to maintaining optimal SharePoint performance, ensuring a seamless experience for all users. When working with SharePoint Online, it's crucial to avoid certain changes that can cause a domino effect and impact performance. For example, avoiding template changes is key because these modifications can invalidate caches, which in turn may trigger global CDN refreshes. These refreshes are resource-intensive and can slow down the entire system. Similarly, keep an eye on content database quotas and regional resource availability. Proactively monitoring these helps prevent bottlenecks before they become serious issues. It's all about staying ahead and ensuring smooth operation. Another important point is managing feature enablement carefully. Features like versioning are powerful, but they can exponentially increase indexing workloads if not used thoughtfully. So, understand the implications before turning on such features. Avoid bulk permission updates or large-scale migrations all at once. Instead, stage these changes carefully and monitor their impact to minimize risks. Large operations can easily cause disruptions if not managed properly. Planning your changes with a clear understanding of the impacted backend services is essential. Making adjustments without assessing potential disruptions can lead to unintended slowdowns or outages. Finally, remember that even small tweaks in SharePoint settings can have widespread effects. SharePoint Online relies on interconnected systems like Azure AD, content databases, and CDN caches. Changes in one area can ripple across the entire environment, so always consider the broader impact before making adjustments. As we come to the conclusion, I want to emphasize the importance of mastering the invisible workings of SharePoint Online. Unveiling the hidden architecture behind the scenes is crucial because it directly impacts how effectively you can manage and secure your digital workplace. By understanding the backend, you can significantly enhance productivity and ensure compliance with security standards. This knowledge empowers organizations to tune their settings properly, making it easier to roll out new features smoothly and handle large-scale migrations without unexpected hiccups. It's all about being proactive and informed, which leads to better decision-making for administrators. Understanding how different services depend on each other helps predict potential performance issues before they become major problems. Sometimes, you might notice slow site provisioning or delays in document search. These are often just the results of ongoing system processes happening in the background. Recognizing that these delays are normal parts of backend operations helps prevent unnecessary concerns or misinterpretations of faults. At its core, SharePoint Online operates within a sophisticated backend ecosystem. Key processes include identity validation, policy enforcement, storage allocation, search indexing, and content delivery. Having a clear grasp of this ecosystem allows you to better interpret what's happening behind the scenes, ultimately leading to more effective management and a smoother user experience.